Hey everyone, today we're driving north ahead of a big snowstorm and we're going to be camping inside of a culvert for about a day, maybe longer. And I built a structure. I'm going to show you guys what I got here and then we're going to go set it up in this culvert. You see there's no snow on the ground. We're going to stay inside the culvert for at least 24 hours. Then when we come back outside the culvert, we're possibly going to have a foot of snow out here as soon as we're finished. This might be pretty cool. Alrighty everybody, right now it's about 45 degrees here in Maine. This road is a bit slippery at the moment because it's all muddy, but in the next 24 hours or so, we're gonna drop in temperature so much. Tomorrow's daytime temperature is 17 degrees, and at night we're gonna be in the single digits. So this road's gonna freeze tonight, and then we're gonna start snowing throughout the overnight and tomorrow. And it says tonight we're only gonna get 1 to 3 inches, but tomorrow we're gonna be getting 8 to 12, which is what I'm hoping for. Completely different scenery. This road might be slippery getting back afterwards. I just realized this thing needs handles because it's too heavy to move. This is what we are going to be using to spend the night inside the culvert. As you see, the walls are capped off on the sides. We have the platform that will allow the water to pass underneath it. There's no storm in the forecast as far as rain. We're actually expecting a blizzard on the night we're going to be doing this. Possibly might stay in there 2 nights if it's still snowing. And right here, I'm gonna have a time-lapse camera aimed at me with the clock on the wall as I sleep. We're gonna try to keep the time-lapse camera going all night. We don't know if it's just gonna stop recording or the battery's gonna run out, but it will be attached to an additional power bank. Now you see the back of the structure, it's got a little bit of reinforcements so I can lean against the walls, I can kick against the bottom of the walls, and to make sure we don't suffocate from the gas being burned as heat, we will not be running the heat while sleeping. This thing right here is going to have about a 3 to 4 inch gap from the ceiling of the culvert so clean air can come in and leave. Now, this culvert we're going to be sleeping in has a steep pitch. It won't be very noticeable inside this thing, but it's steep enough that you have constant air flowing. We will be towards the exiting end of the airflow so that the warmer air from the inside of the ground is passing by us so we don't freeze, because we're going to be doing this with single digit nights. You see right now there's no snow on the ground, but there'll be a lot after. So I put everything in here to make sure we have the space. Now when we're sleeping, I'm going to pack all this stuff up against the wall right here. And that will give me probably good 7 feet, because this thing end to end is 8 feet long. And I'm 6 feet, so there should be plenty of room here. And I also put another screw on this wall in case I want to put the clock on that wall during time lapses. Have a bunch of propane here for the cooktop. We got a pan. This right here is a small heater. And back here is a bunch of canned food, water. This is probably overkill. There's probably enough food there to actually survive close to a week. But I'll probably only be in here for about 30 hours, I plan on, something like that. We got the 2 power banks right here. Little tripod, some additional lights. Plus, if this thing is on, that'll be making a flame. We won't even need flashlights, but maybe for the camera. Over here, this is gonna be, see it says 10 hours of defense. You can put it on clothing and stuff. This is gonna be put on the perimeter right here. Like I said, there's gonna be a few inch gap. I think when we start producing heat in there, all the black widows that spend the winter in the pipe may try to come out and come in here with me. This is going to be to try to prevent them from coming in. I'm going to spray the perimeter and the ceiling above the walls with this to make sure they can't come in at night. They will not come in to try to hurt me, but they might come in to try to get warm. They might try to come in there and might accidentally bite me. So that's to try to avoid that issue. Although I don't think they'll even come over. The culvert that we are using should be between 40 and 50 degrees because it's deep underground. And we're going to drive out there tomorrow and put this inside the culvert. It takes 2 people to move the structure. The structure is actually in 2 pieces. And you see it has handles to help move it. Now this part right here, the reason I have it in 2 pieces, because obviously to get in there, you'll keep this and walk to the end holding the door. Then that's how you get in. But also inside, you can take this, slide it open, have access to the water down below. I do have dish soap in my milk crate right there. That'll be to do dishes, wash your hands, all that kind of stuff. And how am I going to use the bathroom inside here, you might be asking? As I start drinking stuff, these will become pee bottles. And if I have to go number 2, we'll use this bag. And you have your toilet paper right here. Got a can opener down here, all kinds of food. I'll show you once we actually get into the culvert, a bunch of things. I'm also going to bring some markers and stuff because this is going to be absolutely boring with no signal in there. Got to think of things to occupy myself. Just going to slowly cook food. Maybe bring some, I don't know, some crayons or something, draw on the wall, something to occupy myself for all this time. Also, if something like a coyote was to try to get in here at night, the gap is too small, but this is flimsy. I'll definitely hear it trying to get in, and I'll quickly be able to defend myself, or most likely scare it away unless it was rabid. That's the only way it wouldn't stop. All right, everybody. Everything is set up inside the culvert pipe. Nice slime. Now we're going to show you guys the setup and all of our spider friends that will be spending the night here tonight. Lots of iron oxidizing bacteria on this end. And there's some pretty big black widows in here. Now, the northern black widows are not as bad as the southern black widows. It's unlikely to kill you. But it could put you in the hospital if you have a bad reaction. See? We got some small flying insects right here. Little spider right there. There's a small black widow. Stress cracks in the ceiling. Continuing down the pipe, got another spider friend. There's a big nest of eggs. More small spider friends. Very slippery culvert, by the way. That's a big black widow friend in the middle. Keep walking. More black widow friends. Probably a few dozen of them in here. Oh, look at the size of these black widows. There's a bunch of them. Look at the size of that guy. For the most part, they're probably all females because only females survive the winter. Unfortunately, females are more venomous. Now we come down here. It took both of us to get the culvert structure in here. The platform weighs a lot. That's why we have the handles. I have to be on this end, and obviously I have to go out this way because this side does not have a door. And look, there's a lot of space for water. Pass underneath. Now let's go show you guys inside the little camp. We gotta go outside and walk back over the street. Now this culvert is probably about 70 feet long. Not the smallest ones and also not the biggest. Pretty wide road above us. 2 lanes and also 2 breakdown lanes. Oh, look how bright orange that is. That is iron oxidizing bacteria. Completely harmless. Matter of fact, you're most likely drinking it already. It's in your water. Especially if you have a well. Or water that comes from a reservoir. You most likely have it already. All right, back on the other side, about to enter. Now this piece right here with the 2 handles, I will bring in with me inside of the culvert. Bringing it in, my other wall that I'll sleep up against. And look at that, it fits perfectly. I gotta bang off my boots, get as little water as possible up onto the structure. But once I start the heat, it'll dry the little bit of water. And now you see here, down inside the floor, I have a gap where I can do dishes, I can wash my hands, other things like that. And this water's clean. Everyone thinks it's sewage water when I'm inside a sewer, but it's really not. It's crystal clear water. Freezing though, because it's the end of December. And now I can just pull this shut, move my mattresses over it, and sleep. It's gonna work out really nice. So everybody, now that I'm a bit situated, I want to show you guys what's going on. I have my little cooktop right here, which when I'm sleeping will be closed, and I can stack all my stuff against it. And right here, I have a flip phone that I used to use a long time ago. It's got some like really bad games on it. They're like terrible, but if I get really bored. Now I have this right here that I'm thinking about spraying the edges of this to keep the black widows from coming into this area. But that's only if I see them. I'm not even going to bother using this at the moment. Like at the moment, see, we have small friends like this guy on the wall, which we're going to let him stay. But it smells so good in here because I'm using natural bug repellents at the moment. This right here is mint plant. You can get it at your local garden store. Walmart sells it for $3 a plant, and it grows fast and gets huge. It's great for cooking with, but it will keep spiders and insects away. It smells like mint. Smells so good. Now over here is what you call citronella plant. It smells just like those candles you get to keep the mosquitoes away. Both will keep spiders away, and also wild animals don't like them. Really nice plants. Now this is a perennial in most climates. It survives the winter. This one doesn't. I have a giant one. It's a potted plant. I bring it inside every year. In the spring, I cut it to the ground in the pot, put it back outside, it regrows. It's 5 years old, the plant that came off of. And we got our little smiley face thing here that'll slowly die throughout the night as the batteries die. We have a bunch of power banks here somewhere. I gotta figure out what bag they're in. I believe they're right here, yes. I just bought this new power bank right here. We're gonna see how this goes. And I also, that one right there was about $60 at the Walmart. This one right here, I'm not actually sure where this one came from. This one belongs to Ghost 10. This one right here is a cheap one from Walmart. It's about 30 bucks, but beware, if you charge them while it's cold out, they explode. I've had 3 of these ones explode, the same exact one. I buy them because they're cheap, and I learned, don't charge them in the wintertime. Bring them in the house, then you can leave them outside once they're charged. This is intentional, this big gap, like I said in the building at the beginning of the video. The way this culvert is positioned, obviously I'm burning gas and breathing. It's a concern that CO2 will build up, but that's why I chose the proper culvert. You might not be able to tell in here, but this thing's at a good pitch, maybe 5 or 6 degrees. And it's really long. It has to be really long to get the differential pressure of the air. Down there, probably about 50 feet goes down that way to the exiting end. The water's coming in this end down here, probably about 20 feet or so. And there's noticeable wind coming through the top of this, so that'll ensure things like this heater, we're fine. In the ground without the heater, it's about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad at all for sleeping. I actually love that. I will have no problem sleeping in here. But also right now outside it's about 35 degrees. By morning it's going to be 20. Tomorrow night, which I plan on staying in here 2 nights, we're not going to leave the culvert for 2 nights and a day. Oh, we have a little fly friend too. We got this heater. I'm only going to run it while I'm awake, so we'll monitor it, make sure it doesn't start a fire. This is just warm. This thing is actually made for indoor use in a camper, a trailer, and tenting. It's made for being indoors. It burns it in a way that it's not as toxic as the ones you put on a grill tank. Yep, and I also have 6 more of those things. Yep, because I might just leave the thing on non-stop while I'm in here. It's a bit chilly, but, well, the breeze coming in here. But over here, if I turn this way, it's so toasty. I love it in here. This place is awesome. And I even have a clock on the wall. Because times in here that I'm not filming, I'm going to try to time-lapse the whole thing to prove I didn't leave the culvert. Now, tomorrow when the sun comes up and it starts snowing, we're going to get a snowstorm. By the time I come out of here, we're going to have a foot of snow on the ground. Right now, we have nothing. But when it starts snowing, I will remove this door right here. This door I can put up onto the platform right here sideways. I will bring you guys on a walk to the end of the culvert, but we will not leave the culvert for 2 days. All right? So I got this little grill right here where we can heat up water. And while I'm using this, I can shut this thing off because this is going to produce a lot of heat because it's not just a burner, it's a big grill. But I can heat up some food. Got a lot of interesting food. I got some drinks. Got a gallon of water back here. This gallon of water is for the gallon I drink. I'll put it back into this when I pee. Got the clicker right here for the grill because its ignition does not work. I found this grill for free on the side of the road years ago. Yep. Got a can opener. Got a bunch of different snacks in here. Got paper towels. Got instant breakfast drinks. Got some silverware. We have a garbage bag back there. Got some roast beef in here. We got this big can of beef stew. Dish soap. Like I showed you guys, I can open up the floor there and do dishes. Oh, sometimes there's a big gust of wind that comes up. But if I'm down inside it, nope, it doesn't bother me. It's only when I'm sitting up. Got some more drinks. Oh, also, I gotta stop drinking this stuff. Recently, I noticed on the back of it, how is this even legal? No, not this, but I have some drinks that are, the other day I had this drink that, it says serving size 1, but yet it's 140% of your daily sugar. How's that legal in one? That's how you give people diabetes. I don't understand how it's legal and allowed. Oh, I got this stuff. This stuff is really good. Got some milk, which actually does help me sleep. And we got these beef sticks in here. Got a bunch of this stuff, which is great for camping. And that's about it. Over here, I got some more chargers. The duct tape is in case it gets too windy. I can actually close this gap up top. Oh, wow. Every time a big tractor trailer goes overhead, you can hear like a rumble through the ground. You can't feel it, you can hear the But something else that always scares me, down this end, there's like a maybe a dent in the culvert. The rapids are going over pretty nicely, but every now and then the rapid gets disturbed. It's like shh, shh. It sounds like footsteps, which is kind of scary down that end. But that's where all the spiders are. The first spider friends are only 6 feet away. This area right here is clear, but I'm hoping the smell of this will keep those guys away. If not, I'll have to do a perimeter sweep with this. Actually, I should have brought home defense, the stuff you put around the perimeter of your house that keeps critters away. Listen to that nice echo. Nice. Oh, and over here I have a bunch of junk food. This stuff over here, yeah, some of it's decent for me. Some of it's like this. That's not really healthy, but I got some other things. Over here I got some apple sauces and some candies. Oh, we got this. I can boil water for this. It's made for a microwave. It only has microwave instructions as far as I can tell, but I'm hoping I can just pour water into it and wait a few minutes and it'll work out. Oh, I didn't even realize I brought some of this stuff. Wow, I have more food than I expected. Oh, look at that. Got a mosquito friend. It's the middle of December and I can't believe there's still mosquitoes active in this thing. Wow, this thing's not getting warm down here at all, but this whole corner right here where the wind's not getting it, working out perfectly. The walls in here aren't actually as cold as you'd think. Nice. So anyone who's wondering how big this culvert really is, at first I thought it was a 4-foot culvert. It's actually a 46-inch culvert, which is weird, and it's also not round. This culvert is 1 inch wider than it is from ceiling to floor, which is weird. All right, today was a long trip. It took about 3 hours to drive out to this perfect location I wanted, and I'm actually tired. I think I'll sleep nice tonight. Hear the nice water that I'll get to listen to all night because there's like a little waterfall at the entrance of the culvert. So nice. And right now I think I'm gonna boil a little bit of water, so I have to connect the propane tank and all that. And I think I'm gonna try to make this. And that'll be it for dinner. The rest of the stuff will be for tomorrow. And I'm never gonna eat it all. It's just overkill what I brought just in case. Real nice in here. I just hope these mosquitoes don't bite me. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's actually a mosquito. Yeah, they're coming in here for me. Yeah, that is 100% a mosquito. In the middle of winter, how'd that thing get in here? You gotta get rid of that guy before he... There we go. That guy's down. That's why all spiders are in here. Oh no, I'm gonna get bit alive. Look at this guy. There's another mosquito right there. They're so stupid. Oh my gosh, there's another one. I am gonna spray myself with bug spray before bed. Because I think they're over here for me. Because they weren't in here when I first got here. I'm attracting them. They're attracted by the CO2 in your breath. I'm gonna get to cooking some dinner now. Alright, as you guys can see, this thing needs a lot of room when the tank is attached to it. But that's fine, because I'm not going to be cooking when I'm sleeping and I can put everything back. Works out nice. I'm just waiting for dust to burn away. It kind of stinks of smelling dust because I haven't used it in a while. But now that we're getting everything set, I'm going to start making some water. We don't need much at all for this little thing I have. Everything else is canned food. This is the only thing I have that requires water. And that right there is probably too much water that I've used. Alright, we're going to let that thing heat up. Alright everybody, this thing works great, this burner in here. It boils water really fast. This is on low, I can turn it up quite a bit on high. This thing works as a pretty good heater too, but I know it's burning more fuel than this right here, because this thing is a small flame that keeps this stone warm. So this thing I'm about to shut down right now. You see, I had to move everything because there wasn't enough space. Now this thing right here, you saw I originally had with the tank upright, down. It caused the entire line to freeze as the liquid propane went inside it. And I had to give it a few minutes to melt. We're gonna go ahead and shut this off, disconnect the propane tank. This right here did not come out as good as it does in the microwave, but it was decent. It was a little bit crunchy, it was only half cooked, but still yummy. Okay, this thing is cooling down. We're gonna give this a minute before we put it all away. This water, this I gotta rinse out so it doesn't attract animals and also so it doesn't make a mess. We're about to open up the floor here. As soon as I'm done eating, I can brush my teeth too. Oh, the toothpaste must have fell down in the boot. Everything we need to do, I'll wash my face in the water, everything before bed. And first we're gonna have a few more snacks. But you see, I took some cardboard I had because there's too much airflow actually. And there's also tons of mosquitoes in here being attracted by the lights. Can't believe how many mosquitoes can survive in a culvert throughout the winter. See them? There's one right there. There's probably a few dozen of them around here. They're following the lights. There's another one. But you know, the good news is they can't keep coming. There's got to be a limited amount in here because it's freezing outside. They're not coming from outside. I can't imagine how bad this would be Come summertime, I just don't want these guys biting me in my sleep. Let the spiders have them. Now that I've been in here a few hours, the mosquitoes are gone. They're not coming in anymore. Oh, spoke too soon. I'm not seeing them buzzing around, at least. This right here that I was going to use for the perimeter, it's almost full, but no pressure left in it, so I might have to pierce it with a knife and pour it where I need it, including on my own skin if I happen to need it. We're about to go and open up the floor right now so we can have access to some water. Just gotta pull this back, the bedding. Just pull it back like that. I hope water's not coming in there. And this shouldn't be, because it wasn't splashing up on the walls, so that's probably just from my boots. It's gotta be just from my boots. That'll dry up. Okay, now I gotta take the handle. Push it. There we go. Now we have access down to the water. It is actually getting chilly in here, so I'm probably gonna put my sweatshirt on and get underneath the blanket. That was just the hot water. Now I gotta get rid of the cheese. This water is really, really cold. And I don't need to wash this. I'm not really gonna reuse this thing. It's gonna get recycled when I get home. But at the moment, I'm bored, so let's give it a little wash. I can wash my hands too. Alright, that water is so cold, it even turned my hands lightish in color. My hands are numb after just touching that for a few minutes. Now let me grab the handle and shut this door. There we go. We'll have to open that up again before bedtime to brush teeth. Alright everybody, it's just past midnight and I turned the heater on one final time. We're going to let it get nice and warm in here, then I'm going to get some sleep. There was too much of a draft, so I had to block the majority of the gap because the draft is just too much, the cold breeze. It's very cold outside, and somehow this fly got inside the clock and can't get out. Back here, you see I used the boxes to seal that up a bit. Because even if you seal only one side, it's not going to stop the draft because it'll draft in here until it pressurizes, if you get what I mean. So this side here, we got all sealed up. You see the camera light is plugged into a power bank to make sure it doesn't run out of light. I'm going to time lapse the whole night to prove to you guys that I do not leave the culvert at any time. So now it's time to get some sleep. Over here, those boxes have structural strength, while over here, this doesn't have structural strength. You see, I tried to add some with the cardboard, but then I decided to see go up inside that crack. I'm hoping if it does slip, because the tape doesn't stick very good to concrete, it won't fall on me and scare me in my sleep. But I should be fine in here tonight, especially inside the culvert. All right, time to get some sleep. Hey everyone, it's officially morning. That's daylight you're seeing. The temperature actually dropped off a lot last night. If you saw in the time-lapse video, I got up probably every 2 hours to turn the heat on. I kept waking up because it kept becoming freezing inside here. And once it hit about 6 a.m., I just slept a almost solid 4 hours after that. You see, I had to add a bunch of reinforcements right here because the air gap I made, the wind was just too much. And I determined that the gas created by the heater can get out of here just fine the way it is now. There's still a good breeze coming through here. Didn't need as much as I thought. But better safe than sorry when I was building the thing. The light right here died, but we're doing good on battery power. This right here has 67% left, and we're 1/3 through the time I want to stay in here, because like I said, we're going to stay 1 day and 2 nights. And the other power bank right here still has about 75%, it's saying. And I think we're about to set this burner up again, but instead of this wall, I think it would be more practical if I put it right here in front of me instead. But I'm gonna move the bedding back a bit. Like, I'm gonna halfway put it up the wall, make it into more of a couch. Yeah, and put the burner in front of me. I think I'm gonna make some soup now that I just woke up. Yep, pee bottle's filling up. This is actually extremely comfortable in here for sleeping because you got the water falling in here. This is not that, I wish I added a little bit more bedding. It's kind of thin. You can feel the hard surface definitely, but that's definitely my fault. It's a nice comfortable culvert. Love the sounds of the water throughout the night. The only thing is, occasionally I have to turn the heat on in here. I don't think that would have been as big of a problem if I was in the center of it. Because remember I said it's about a 70-foot culvert. Out this way over here, as you can see, see if we can fit the camera out. That's about 20 feet until we are out that side. And the other way I said is more about 50 feet. The reason I didn't go in the center is because dead in the center, the warmest spot is where all the black widows are congregating. And I thought that if I was in the middle that we'd have a problem with them. But right here, I actually thought that my heat that I'm generating in here would have attracted them. But that has yet to happen. Although we do have some really small spider friends. Like you see the one right here, which the camera's having trouble focusing on, hanging from its web. Now black widows, they're not gonna just try to bite you unprovoked. That's why I'm never scared going inside culverts. I'm just worried that one's gonna crawl on me in my sleep trying to get warm. And I'm gonna move, scaring it. Alright, I'm just waiting for my stew to cool, then I'm gonna eat that, put the grill away, then we can wash the pan. I disconnected all this stuff to give it more ventilation while I'm using this, which burns more fuel faster. Thought I'd give it more ventilation just to be safe, and also I had to disconnect this stuff because I'm gonna remove the doorway, because later on it's gonna start snowing at about 1 o'clock. As you can see, it's 10:30 just about. And I'll bring you to the end of the tunnel once it starts snowing out. And look, the smiley face light started working again. It died last night, but I guess it being off revived the battery somehow. Or maybe just because it's so warm in here, the battery decided to put out some more power. Alright, that soup was really good. Or I should say that beef stew was really good. Now this is just broth. You can let the fish eat the little particles once it enters the river. Oh good, it's not too badly burned. I thought it was all going to be burned in the bottom. This should be easy to clean. Yeah, that turbulent water is getting it out real nice. Now I just gotta loosen it up. Using my fingernail, get everything off. You know, if this would be easier, I gotta get a piece of paper towel. Back over here. Alrighty. Got a piece of paper towel. Can use it as a little sponge. This stew is actually very greasy. This is actually extremely relaxing right now, leaving this thing open in the daytime. Just seeing the water flow by and hearing it. It's so relaxing. Now that it's daytime, temperatures are back in the upper 20s. So it's not as cold as last night, that freezing wind coming through here. But tonight's going to be even worse. Heavy snow, and it's going to be down in the teens. Some forecasts say single digits. So now I'm going to move all this stuff right here onto the platform. I'm going to try to get this whole wall right here onto the platform so I can walk by it. And we're going to go see what's happening outside before it even snows. But we're not going to leave the pipe. Let's get everything back here. Actually, I'm going to need the boots. So we'll leave them. Nice clean pan, and put it back out of the way where it can dry. And I'll turn the heater off. Put that back here. Still very hot. Now I'm going to try to get this platform up onto here and see if it'll work or not. That's why it has two handles. Ugh. Is it going to work? I'm ripping some of my insulation work. But it's working. I'm going to have to fix that after. Not a big deal. It's just paper towels. I can fix it. That's as much as I'm going to move it. Don't want to damage the insulation too much. That's a pretty nice view too. It's overexposed on the camera. But let's go for a little walk outside. Oh, this thing died again. I bet you if I shut it off, the battery will have enough power to turn on again in a few hours, just like last time. Wow. My whole sock turned upside down throughout the night. Alright, let's go for a little walk to the end of the culvert. And you see, I'm only running on 2% light. See, I can get up to 100. Now we're off. All right, step off the platform into the water. Now, I'm not gonna go outside. Just take a look at the scenery we have, and then we'll see what it looks like when it starts snowing in a few hours. And then in the morning, I'm hoping we're gonna have like a foot of snow. Forecast says tonight, meaning when it starts at 1 o'clock through midnight, 1 to 3 inches. Not a lot. But then tomorrow, from 12 a.m. through noon, we're supposed to pick up another additional 5 to 8. So I'm hoping we get around a foot. See, it's cold enough that there's ice here. Icicles forming everywhere. Definitely cold enough for snow to stick. Side here, that's what I got going on. Looks pretty dark down there, doesn't it? Without the lights. Alright, now I'm just gonna check the weather for a moment on this thing. Alright everybody, it took a few minutes because without actually leaving the culvert, I could only get 1 bar of internet here. And that's all I needed. It is 27 degrees currently, and we're headed back into the culvert pipe. Alright, gotta get back up on my platform. There's the edge of it. I'm gonna sit up in here, take my boots off, banging off as much water as possible. Alright. Off comes the first one. And off comes the second one. Now we're gonna maybe actually leave the door like this for a while. It's pretty nice out. It's not cold. Perfect weather right now. Although I might run the heat a little bit in here, just for the draft. This looks so cool when you put it on really low. It's making a high-pitched noise though. There we go. I'm definitely gonna have enough fuel because this is tank number 2 of 7 and we're already over a third of the way done with this camping. As far as power, still doing very well. 67% remaining in that. That's still more than 2/3 of the time we have left. This one over here is actually still, nope, that one dropped back to 75%, but that's still really good. So this tank is empty and I got 5 more full ones ready to go. Alright, this little flip phone I bought that I was going to occupy myself with actually has no games on it like I thought. But it does have an FM tuner. Everything is static except one channel. It does get some Christmas music coming from somewhere. We're not in the center of the culvert. We have about 20 feet down there is the entrance, so a little bit of signal is getting in there for that. Just trying to find ways to occupy my time. Still got almost 24 hours, about 21 hours left in here. Alright, we're going to take a look outside and see what's going on with the snow. It's been snowing now for about 2 hours. Just snowing lightly. Remember that today, in the daylight hours, we're only supposed to get 1 to 3 inches. Then tonight we're supposed to get 5 to 8. hoping we get the maximum amount. Hoping to come out of here to about a foot of snow in the morning. Wow, it's so much warmer getting back into here. And I'm noticing that at first when I came in here yesterday, it wasn't that bad. It was actually warm in here. It was in the 40s when outside was much colder. But then at night it got really cold and you saw I had to keep turning the heat on and off throughout the night. But now that I'm basically running the heater on low all day, the concrete in here is warm from the heater running all day. The walls are all warm. All right, I'm not gonna go back out here until morning. It's about 3:30. It'll be completely dark in a half hour. So I'm gonna seal this thing back up for the night. Nice and warm. Now tonight, before I go to sleep, I'm really gonna seal this thing up good because it's gonna be much colder tonight. For the time being, I'm just putting this back because I have to slide this again to clean off the pans after dinner. All right, that's good for now. Put the padding back down. Alright, I just set the little burner up to cook some food. It's now dark outside. It's 10:04. Already dark. Gonna go ahead and shut this heater off. You don't need that right now because this thing makes more heat than the heater even on low. Goes through a lot of propane. Alrighty. Gonna have this roast beef right here. Yeah, that's gonna be yummy once we warm that up. There we go. I'll put this over here. We'll rinse that off in the water next time I open the hatch to clean this off. Go here, turn the gas up. Start it off on medium. Oh, it lit. It's burning down there on medium. And I got my knife, which I'm reusing from the stew. That'll be to stir it. And we got 3 more propane tanks left for heating tonight. I don't think we'll need them all. We've had no insects coming in. I don't even think this was necessary. I think the spiders are just leaving me alone, but this is an extra precaution. You see how that's still wet from when I sprayed it last night? And I don't even need to spray more. which is a good thing because I'd have to get the can opener and I'd have to puncture this. It doesn't have pressure anymore, so yep, you'd have to puncture it if I wanted to pour it on something. Today we did have one mosquito come in here. Last night there was a ton of them. I think there's not many left in the tunnel. It looks like, okay, now this is going to be heating up. It's going nicely. I think tonight's going to be so much better than last night because today I'm running a heat source all day, and that's making the ceiling is warm to the touch. So I'm hoping that tonight the walls are going to radiate it back into me, so I'll stay nice and warm. Because now the walls are all, this concrete is retaining a lot of heat like a little foundry, which you usually use concrete or plaster. And it retains heat for a long time. And I gotta open the hatch up one more time. Once I close that, I'm gonna seal this thing a lot better than that. Although that's not bad at all. We are 18 hours into this. And we're planning on staying in here until about 8 or 10 in the morning. So we have another about 18 hours to go. Alrighty, I'm gonna put you guys back on time lapse. Everyone, it's 5 p.m. and it's really warm in here now. It's extremely comfortable. I'd say it's definitely in the 70s for temperature, and the ceiling is warm to the touch everywhere. So I'm hoping it's gonna radiate back in on me tonight. I'm surprised. Those two power banks are doing very good. They both have more than half of their power left, and we're more than halfway through this. Alright. Over here we have 3 more cans of propane left. And you saw that pan right there in the time lapse. If you could tell, after I washed the pan here, before I put it away, I tried drying it. I put it on top of the heater, and look at this. It melted the handle. Now this thing was an entire trick. Look at this. The entire body of this thing is steel, except the handle. But the handle looks exactly the same. I assumed it was steel. By tapping on it, I could not tell the difference. Now the rest of this thing's body is steel with heat-proof paint. I assumed the handle was the same thing, but no, it wasn't. The pot transferred heat to it, and it melted. At least it didn't melt all the way through. tonight. It's getting later. I've now had the heater off for about 20 minutes. Ceiling is still warm to the touch everywhere. So I think tonight's going to be really nice. And I have it sealed off better tonight. It's going to be a lot colder. And I think there's a lot of snow out there right now. I can't see out there, and I'm not going to go out there at the moment. But every time a car drives by, it sounds super muffled compared to before. We'll see in the morning. I'm going to turn the heat back on for a few minutes and then try to get some sleep. Alright, it's about 1 in the morning on our last night in here. I tried sleeping a few times, it's just not happening. I didn't use a lot of my energy yesterday, so I think that's why. I'm just not tired. I didn't do anything. I'm bored trying to pass time. As you can see, there is some snow out there. I'm hoping there's more on the actual ground. That's kind of a marshy area, which might be warm. It only looks like we got about 4 inches. It's supposed to be snowing all the way until noon today, but it's not snowing right now. I'm hoping it's going to start again. But now I just opened up the hole again, because I think I'm going to brush my teeth again and then try to sleep once again. We got a little friend right here. Centipede. Now that kind of looks a lot bigger on the screen than it actually is. It's actually tiny. See it? Compared to my finger? How tiny it is. Tiny little guy. Everybody, it's been almost 36 hours. It'll be 36 hours once we hit 10 o'clock. Gonna start getting ready to emerge from the cave for the first time. In 36 hours. This stuff right here doesn't look like much. It may look bad, but it keeps the heat in really nice. A lot warmer the second night. Honestly, I think it was too warm to sleep this time. Yep, it was kind of rough getting to sleep at first, but then in the end I ended up getting a good 6 hours. 6 hours is not a lot, but then again I didn't use much energy in here. Now, this stuff here is conducting a lot of heat, because the heat is like pooling in the top foot of the ceiling right here. Now that I'm ripping it down over here, this mint plant still smells really strong. Even though it's all shriveled up now. You can let that go down the culvert. See, I have this taped around the back because I couldn't tape it on the front because that insect repellent made it greasy and the tape wouldn't stick. Honestly, when I first started doing this, I told you guys that the duct tape didn't stick to the concrete at all. And that's because the concrete was cold, but now that we've been running space heaters, the concrete is warm in my little capsule. So if you saw the second night, I was able to duct tape right to it. You can duct tape to warm concrete, but not soft not cold concrete. Yep, I'm taking down all my stuff now. Didn't even take as much as we thought. 4.5 tanks of propane out of 7 to heat this place. Yep, getting ready to emerge now. And now I'm just gonna walk out with the end cap and put it right into the car. And then I'll be back down for the rest of the stuff and we can head on out of here. Go ahead, shut the heat off. This heater's really good and they're not even that expensive. This thing right here is like $55 at Walmart. Now the only reason this thing right here, see it moves back and forth the whole wall, it's because I put it on a joint and the joint doesn't line up perfectly. Other than that, this culvert is in perfect condition. You saw when I brought you for the end 2 days ago, there was some stress cracks in the ceiling. They're minor, but I still think it'll take another decade or two until it starts becoming an issue. Okay, I'm gonna get my boots on now. And we're gonna go see how much snow is outside. disappointed. We were supposed to get 5 to 8 inches of snow over tonight, and no, we didn't. We got about, that's 3 or 4 inches. Thought there would have been a lot more. A bit disappointing. But it's still falling a bit. Maybe it'll catch up again. But my 36 hours is up. Now it's time for me to pack up. The snow looks beautiful. I'm happy to see that they threw down a lot of gravel on top of the snow, so this road's not slippery at all. I intended on this road to be really slippery on the way back. This road I don't technically have to take, but this dirt road is a shortcut. Despite only getting a few inches of snow, it still looks really beautiful. I wish we would have got the forecasted amount though. Anyways, everybody, I hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.